Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of John, the 9th chapter. And as Yahweh Shai passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. So he was born blind. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And this shows you that they understood the process of reincarnation, because why would they ask if this man sinned? If he was born with the penalty of being blind, when would he have sinned? In a previous life. That's why they were asking that was he a sinner before in his previous life that led to him being born with this judgment? Or did his parents sin that led to the punishment being their son being blind? Yahushua answered, neither hath this man sinned. Now, why didn't Yahushua rebuke them and say, what do you mean, did this man sin? Clearly, he was born blind. When would he have had a chance to sin? Don't be ridiculous. He didn't say that because he knew what they were talking about. But he says, no, it wasn't because he sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. So this is for the glorification of the works of God. He was made this way so that I could come at this point in time to heal him. I must work the works of him that sent me, which is the labor, right? The ministering, the teaching, the healing, while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. Now, this analogy is based on the actual workday, right? You work in the day, and when the night comes, that 12th hour, that's it. It's over. Work is over. But here, Yahweh Shai's night was the point in time when his ministry would be over and he would be crucified, and then he would be done. So he had to do the work that the Father sent him to do during that duration of time that he had. And likewise for us, the night is coming for us as well, where the Lord is going to put an end to us preaching and doing the works of, in our case, the works that he sent us to do, which is to teach. And that night is going to symbolize that time of judgment, because that's what comes after us teaching, right? We were sent last, as it were, appointed unto death, pursuant to 1 Corinthians 4:9. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world, being Yahushai. And that light is what will guide the believers onto salvation, or at least unto acquiring it. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. And in the Hebrew, that word Siloam goes to shalach, which is to send. Like when you're saying the curses and you say shalach rayam, you're saying send evil, because ra is evil and yam makes it plural, so really send evils. And this is the Hebrew, right? Shalach, which is sent or send. He went his way therefore and washed and came seeing. So he was blind. After this, he went and washed his face, and all of a sudden he could see again. The neighbors therefore, when they which before had seen him that was blind, said, is not this he that sat and begged? So isn't this the blind beggar? Some said, this is he. Others said, no, he is like him. But he said, I am he. So some of them were like, no, that's him. Some said, no, he just looks like him. But he confirmed, he said, no, it's me. Therefore said they unto him, what? How were thine eyes opened? How is it that you're seeing right now? He answered and said, a man that is called Yahushai made clay and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. And they said unto him, where is he? He said, I know not. They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. So they took him, who was blind in the past, to the Pharisees. And it was the Sabbath day when Yahushua made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, he put clay upon mine eyes, and I washed, and do see. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of God, because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. So here it is, he's breaking the Sabbath. How is he a man of God? Others said, But how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? You think the Most High is going to give such power to a sinner? And there was a division among them. They say unto the blind man again, what sayest thou of him, that he hath opened thine eyes? So what do you think? What's your take on him? He said, he is a prophet. Surely he got to be a prophet. But the Jews did not believe concerning him that he had been blind. So they said, no, ain't no way. You must not have been blind as you say you were, and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that had received his sight. So they said, go and get his parents. And they asked them, saying, is this your son, whom ye say was born blind? How then doth he now see? His parents answered and said unto them, we know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. But by what means he now seeth, we know not. Or who hath opened his eyes, we know not. He is of age, ask him. He shall speak for himself. So go ask him. He's old enough to speak for himself. These words spake his parents because they feared the Jews. For the Jews had agreed already that if any man did confess that he was the anointed, he should be put out of the synagogue. So they feared lest by saying that he got his sight back through the Messiah or through the works of Yahushai, they would say, oh, so you think he's the Messiah too. Now you're not allowed in the synagogue. So that's why they said, therefore said his parents, he is of age, ask him. So let him give you the answer. Then again called they the man that was blind and said unto him, give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. Don't glorify him. No, praise the Lord. This is a miracle from the Most High. This guy's a sinner. Ain't no way, he should be going around, doing this. He answered and said, whether he be a sinner or no, I know not. So I don't know if he's a sinner or not. But one thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see. So that I know. I was blind, and now I can see. Then said they to him again, What did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? So tell us exactly how he did it again. He answered them, I have told you already, and ye did not hear. Wherefore would ye hear it again? I told you what he did and how he opened my eyes. You didn't want to believe it. Now you want me to tell you again? Will ye also be his disciples? What, you want to hear it again? Do you also want to go and follow him and be his disciples? then, then they reviled him and said, thou art his disciple. We are Moses' disciple. Don't compare us to him. You are his disciple. We ain't no his disciples. We're Moses' disciples. We know that God spake unto Moses. As for this fellow, we know not from whence he is. So we know that the Most High dealt with Moses, but him, nah, we don't know who he is. Talking about we his disciple. The man answered and said unto them, why herein is a marvelous thing, that ye know not from whence he is, and yet he hath opened mine eyes. So he's saying, wow, isn't that an interesting thing? NLT, why, that's very strange, the man replied. He healed my eyes, and yet you don't know where he comes from? And what he was getting at, how can you not see that this is the Messiah? Or that he is from God, at least, if he had the power to heal my eyes. Now we know that God heareth not sinners. So this young man was making some points, right? He said, so you don't know where he's from, but yet he has the power to heal my eyes. And we know that God doesn't give this kind of power to sinners, right? So we know that God heareth not sinners. But if any man be a worshipper of God, and doeth his will, him he heareth. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? So he's saying, even since the beginning, no, we haven't heard any stories of any man opening the eyes of one that was born blind. If this man were not of God, he could do nothing. So if he truly wasn't son of the Most High, how would he be able to do all that? They answered and said unto him, hey, thou wast altogether born in sins, and dost thou teach us? They're like, listen. You went and got your eyes healed. Don't forget that you were born in sins, right? That's why you were born blind. You coming out here trying to teach us? And they cast him out. Yo, these Pharisees, man. And they cast him out. They were too proud. Yahushua heard that they had cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him, Dost thou believe on the Son of God? He answered and said, Who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? And Yahushua said unto him, Thou hast both seen him, and he it is that talketh with thee. And he said, Lord, I believe. And he worshipped him. And Yahushua said, For judgment am I come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind. That is, those, now obviously he was healing those that were physically blind, but he's referring to those that were spiritually blind before, that hadn't seen the ways of righteousness, might see it. Their eyes might be opened onto the way of truth. And those that were considered to having their eyes open, meaning they weren't ignorant of the fact, would be made blind to the truth. And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words and said unto him, Are we blind also? So what you trying to say, we're blind too? Insinuating that they weren't blind, but he cut them with that. Verse 41, Yahushua saith unto them, If ye were blind, ye should have no sin, right? Because you were ignorant to it. But now ye say, We see, therefore your sin remaineth. So you basically said that if you're not blind, then you're well aware of the things that you do. Therefore your sins remain because you knew to do better and you didn't. And that brings us to the end of the book of John, the 9th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Ruach HaKodesh. Until next time, Shalom.